Okay, now simple things which we'll be discussing is going to be your different kind of the services, IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. Okay, so let's just start with the same. So I always say that this is something that you will be finding closest to your on-prem, infrastructure, closest to that. Why? Because although it will be hosted on the your cloud service providers end, but what is going to happen is apart from that physical hardware, responsibility of going ahead and updating, like you're saying, you just tell your system or the cloud service provider, I want this operating system image. It provide you that image. Now, what apps you want to go or run there, what you want to install, how you maintain security policy, updation, patches, that is all going to be the responsibility of yours, not the cloud service provider. Okay, so physical one, they are taking. Rest of this is just falling upon you. So we'll be seeing a whole graph or chart for the same thing, where we will be seeing that that shared responsibility model that you are talking about as well. So we have that kind of the feature that is helping us on the same thing, right? Now what we are going to do is, okay, so when we are going to be working on the same scenario over here, this is the infrastructure service in simple terms. Then there is going to be the platform as a service as well. So when we are talking about the platform as a service, I think everyone familiar, right? And today we will be seeing some example of infrastructure as a service. If time will permit us, I will quickly want to so rather than leaving things for the when module 2 or module 3 will come and then we will discuss something, I want to give you as much as physical hands-on raw experience to the cloud as is possible for the first week itself, so that next week when we are talking something or discussing something, quickly you can start mapping one-on-one kind of a thing, right? So we'll be starting with something like platform as a service. So in the platform as a service, what is happening? Okay, so if you will see that this diagram, okay, so I have picked these diagram from the Microsoft's official your training modules and all. So these diagrams, if you will be seeing what it is saying, that physical server and storage will be that there is going to be the networking, firewall, security solution, physical center. So all these things are going to be with the your cloud service provider. So they are talking about the physical networking part, not the virtual one. Okay, because in the data center, the racks, they are going to connect through the firewalls and the network. So those physical things, there will be bridges, switches. So those things connection is going to be maintained by the your cloud service provider. Rest is with you. Then in the past, what is happening, let's say that I was using this thing to deploy a web app. In that web app I was deploying something like an ASP.NET Code and Visual Studio. I was creating the runtime environment, installing the IaaS server, and then I was hosting a website over there. And in the meantime, all these updation, upgradation, that will be my responsibility. But I am a coder. I don't want to fall for these many kind of a thing. So I was asking, give me something simple. I don't want to update these operating system and these environment, runtime environment. I don't want to handle them. So they give me the option that, okay, let's just go for the PaaS services. So in the past, that operating system underlying, although I have to choose, because I know if I'm running on the ASP, let's say ASP.NET, your version 4.8, so it is not going to run on the Linux, right? And it is, they are not automatically going to give you the runtime environment. You need to tell them. So you'll be telling them, okay, I will be using for me, create an underlying server which will be working on the Windows, right? Not on the Linux. Same goes for the Python as well. Python will be, it will be selecting the Ruby, Python, that kind of a thing. So that will be running on the Linux server, not on the Windows. So that will be a different scenario. So you have to select which server. Then there will be the different plans that they will be proposing, right? According to your budget, you or the requirement, you will be selecting that how much RAM space you will be requiring. So that plan, you will be selecting what you want. Maybe you want auto scale. Like if I'm talking in terms of the Azure, they give you a flexibility like what is your plans, right? The RAM or the for the networking access, what do you want to at any point you want to apply some firewall, right? That only this virtual network can access this, web app or something like that in the infrastructure. So you have the small things, or do you want to enable the auto scaling, or you want to do the manual scale? So according to your plan, they will be offering you few things. You can select that, okay, whatever is suiting you, that all the whatever app you want to develop over there, what is runtime environment, it will be all created to you. What I will be doing, I will be going on to my ASP.NET. I will be having my code, and I will be simply click on publish, select, login into my account. After logging it in, I'm just simply working with that. Okay, done. I don't need to do anything else, right? So this is something that is what I'm requiring while I was working with this particular thing. So I will be just publishing, focus on my code and working around that one. I don't want anything else, right? And yesterday, if you remember, I was talking about on the PaaS itself, we start delivering the database services as well, right? So I can create, I don't want to maintain the underlying SQL or anything. So I just want to go and work with my database. So I can deploy a SQL database. And this thing will be playing another important role. Why? Because we will be talking about the data protection. There you will be seeing at I'm trying to access it, database, create some firewall rule for it, encrypting that data, that kind of a demos. I will be showing to you guys as well, right? So this is also going to be in there. So let me just erase all this. Sorry, I forgot. This is on the pic. Okay, so this is something regarding the pass. So I don't want to do handle the underlying things. So that's why we'll be having the pass over here. Then there is going to be the software as a service, SaaS. So in this one, what we are going to have is okay. So when we are starting with something like this, so this time I am not a developer as well. I just want to use some storage service. My task is just use a storage service. So what I'm going to the Dropbox, purchasing its subscription, start using it. Or I'm going to the Google and saying that, okay, give me 100 gigs, 200 gigs of space, and I will be paying you, right? So I don't need to maintain it. Or I'm just saying that, okay, give me that calendar app, and I just marking my things over there. I am, I'm not going to develop my own calendar app for booking the, things. So in simple terms, if I will be summing this up, so G Suite. So I was actually, okay, because what a kind of a trend that I have seen is two things. One is a G Suite, and there is going to be the O365, right? So most of the time you will be seeing big organizations are using kind of a both scenarios, depending on which uh, team they want to go for it, or being the separations in between. But mostly what we have seen that G Suite is more popular between the startups. That because I have worked for startups as well. I have worked for the organization, other organization as well. They have been my clients as well. So this is a kind of a thing that we are seeing. Now, what is happening in these things? These are your, simply cloud solution. They are containing your mail servers. They are containing your calendar, Google Meet space. So that where we were talking about the communication as a service. So that Teams, your Google Meet, they come onto that particular part itself, right? So these things are popping up, and you don't, you are not writing the code for the Outlook, right? Or you are not writing the code for your SharePoints, how the SharePoint should work, how Team should work. So there is already code. They will be. You need to just keep updating themselves. The thing that you will be controlling will be the identity part, right? That who should be given the access and all that kind of a thing, and bringing your data, storing it, start using this service. That's it, nothing else, right? So this is the SaaS model. And remember, these are the three basic ones. I was telling you there is going to be the container as a service, database as a service, security as a service. So simply, I have summed up all these things from a very long time. I think from around 2018, 20, starting or 2017 end. So I just kind of fed up something, and I was reading one article, and they give a very good explanation. Like things are moving very fast, and in future, lot of services will be shifted to the cloud. So rather than giving them the name, why don't we use something like the anything as a service, XaaS,